So then, your hatch. Get your hatch. Guy's pulling away. He's got his hatch all the way open. Maybe he's hauling something on the back of it. No, he's got it closed. So, one of the guys I work with. Anywho, how's it going? All right, so I felt like putting on my mock emperor hat, and I am going to God Emperor Muad'Dib for a second and tell you how I would run the world, so you could be terrified at how poorly our viewpoints of the world seem, in which case you would have to destroy me before I did something crazy because I've put the wrong law on the wrong person. Right? That's how the game goes, isn't it? But anyway. So, here's what happens. Here's what happens. Circumstances occur where for some inexplicable reason everybody's actually listening to me. Alright? A whole bunch of things happened, and now everybody's listening to me. Maybe everybody's listening to me because half of everybody is dead. And the only people left are people that look like me. It's one of those situations. I don't know. People I hope for better, they often fail. And, but sometimes it's just you understand your own, and your own also happen to look like you as you find out your common bonds, common ancestors, etc., etc. All right, but we're talking about conquering the world here, baby. I've got them all. I've got them all. They're all eaten out of my hand. I found myself somewhere where I'm the authority, and this is everything I gotta say I am gonna do and start doing on day one. Alright, so the first thing I'm gonna tell everybody to do is to stop everything that they're doing except for the work that they're doing right now, but otherwise take a big pause on everything but the occupation that you're in. And at some point I'm going to start talking about occupations. What kind of occupations will and won't exist. I don't know how long I got for this. I'm doing, like, I got enough time. I'll probably be driving for about 15-20 minutes before I'm gonna cut off in my thing. Forget me. No, not this one. Let's do this. One second. Alright, we're good. So, I'm gonna be like, let's get you on a professional personal trainer system. Let's get you on a mindset that follows the trivium. And let's get you familiar with 3 parts of your soul. The 9 parts, but we start with 3, jump up to the 9, because you've got to unpack these things on me. Right? So that'll be the first thing that I do. I tell everybody, foundationalize on those three sets of things, right? There's several things in each set. Second off, what my empire will endorse and will not endorse. Will not endorse in any way, shape, or form anything media. Anything that goes along the broadcast medium. The Empire will publish what it's doing. It's up to you to be the media, to inform people of what we're doing, as it'll be published, public, transparent. You can get the transcripts of the arguments that got there. Every day, as Emperor, we will have a meeting of the Senate, and the Senate is not politicians. It's not, none of these people are elected. These would be the top people from each representation that simply won the argument. And you don't become a senator until you've shut up everybody else. And that's it. There's no election. There isn't like, by this day, the argument must be won. No. So we'll start with no Senate, with a potential of, let's say that there are 500 countries. So we'll have a 500-seat Senate. Each country is going to have a national argument about who can argue with me. This is kind of like what Donald Trump does, which is one of the things I'm amused by his style, is that it's why he's accused because he'll have an argument the way you expect your elected official to argue your point, right, and your position. He'll have his argument, and then because he knows how to actually shut down a wrong answer and elevate a right answer, he by that merit wins the argument. Now, the wrong and the right answer are going to be framed in context to the media, and there's a conflict of interest between how our system works and the media already, right? So anyway, so that's it. It's just all the arguing, basically, and then once you've become the Senate, this chief of all those who actually argued until they shut everybody up, they can be dethroned anytime somebody starts arguing with them and shuts them up. I mean, not in the middle of session. If you're in the middle of session and you're doing what the Senate is meant to do, which is to look at your nation's constitution and say, within the framework of the law that's already established as precedent under natural, self-evident conditions, the natural law premises that Mark Passio underscores. All you're doing is looking at all the things that humanity does and figuring out how something happens to keep those laws enforced without it acting in violation upon the pretense of pre-crime, where you are working off of vague explanations of suspicion and intention, right? Suspicion and intention has been our issue. The police state issue has been the amp up of suspicious and intention, right? And there's been plenty of intention and suspicion bullshit operations that unconsciously were targeting all sorts of people. And it was class-based, not race-based, but the way you were treated directly was race-based. And it went on way too long, right? So, how would the interpretation of law actually be enforced in my AMPRO? You would arrange your society in a manner of high trust, large understanding of agreement, accountability, the honoring your end of the of the deal, right? So, you know, you would probably want to write that down, you know, as your contract. And so then it's just, you better just look it over and say, like, all right, is this clear? Does this one thing here, do I think I understand this word properly because it's important, because of the violation of law? If I get that word wrong, and thus it'll screw me over because I would have to act out in a way I've pre-agreed not to do, which otherwise would have been my natural right. Natural rights and natural laws. Rights are not laws, right? The idea of liberty will be not applicable to your relationship with the empire, right? There will be no liberty. You will have your true freeness, your true free domain, your true free dominion. All as long as you are not in transgression of the natural laws, which will not be misconstrued to create bullshit contract laws that you can't get out of on the daily, right? It's just like if you're under contract for something for a period of days or whatever, you're not like stuck in that contract all the time. You're stuck in that contract during the times you are doing what you're supposed to be doing in the contract for the reasons you want to be in the contract. The other side of the deal that's in it for you, because no one can have their freedom taken away in contract, right? You have your agreement stuff, and then all of that for all sorts of free associations also doubles as part of your agreements if you choose to work with or for someone else for whatever reason. Let's talk about money. Why would we be working Like what we care about money as a metric of rationing resources, right? If you overinflate, you force people to change the price just because you needed all that money to be there to serve a different part of the fucking economy, but that still causes a big problem for the other stuff, right? The reason why, despite the fact of abiotic oil, the reason why you don't just pump gas into oblivion is that your abiotic well still needs to refill. And we don't know at what rate it caps itself off. And thus, if you're consuming more in a week than the well is refilling, you're gonna have far less reserves, which shrinks supply and thus becomes a factor in cost as per the enormous demand that is causing that shortage in the first place. Right? So effectively, let's you're getting paid because we're going to have some kind of currency. We are not going to have a compulsion to that currency, including as a default for the function of justice, such as the court systems. If you are the defendant, unless you don't. There's nothing there. There's no charge upon you in the court until you are convicted. If there's no conviction, then you're not, there's nothing for all of that, right? All of that will be taken care of by the resources of the empire. And we won't need many resources for that because, it's just your own people and stuff for documenting what you're doing and time. And the courts will figure out the most cost-effective form of time that does not compromise the integrity of justice. Ah, yes. That'll be the fourth thing on the itinerary is civics and justice. People will get a sense of civic and justice, natural law, all that stuff. It'll be an understanding of the uniformity of human spirit, but it's a free uniform, right? It's like, in short, it's like, imagine if the whole world could be and do and look and whatever in any way that it wanted within natural law, and you maybe just had to have one little button with the symbol of the empire, just to say that I know my my place in the world, is kind of what it means, right? That's kind of what it means. That's it. No different than carrying around an ID or anything like that. You got that thing. You got that thing, and you get that thing basically as soon as you have agency. There will be a deterministic point through the personal development for agency, and children will not be raised by the state. The empire will not allow itself or the state